I'd like to interrupt this regularly scheduled broadcast of the Line with breaking legal news from Fourth Line Industries. Due to legal advice, we are no longer allowed to refer to this podcast as the Line. So from now on, what you know as the Line will be only referred to as, well, we don't know yet. But it won't be the Line anymore. Just know that. We would now like to return you to the regularly scheduled broadcast of the Line.
You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. This is June the 20th, 2018. With you today is myself, Carl, and the always wonderful Joel.
What up?
We're very excited to have on today's episode of the Fourth Line, Mr. Tiny Mike.
Hello, boys.
We've got some things to talk about.
I was going to say, is this a Fourth Line episode? Feels like this regularly isn't a Fourth Line episode.
Yeah, we're normally another line, right?
Yeah, so I have to tell you guys, you know how it happened. We released the line with Mike on it last month. I was on vacation while we were doing that, having a lovely time in Quebec, and the day after, we received some very interesting mail. That mail was from a legal team asking us to not do what we've been doing anymore. Apparently the people found out.
Cat's out of the bag, Carl.
Yeah.
They found out this was legit. It wasn't it was a much bigger deal than we ever thought it would be. Right?
Yeah, we never intended for
people to listen.
We never intended for anyone to know what we were doing over here. But what we didn't intend was we did not name this show with Mike in a way to antagonize anyone, really. It was what comes after fourth.
Do we ever antagonize anybody? Like, except for Boston fans?
Patrick O'Sullivan? Gary Bettman?
Gary.
There's a very select few people that we do antagonize, yeah.
Jordan Eberle? Although he's, better now. What happened?
Yeah.
It's not in Edmonton. That's what happened.
Left Edmonton. He fixed that.
The city of Edmonton, apparently?
Just as...
Oh, yeah, the entire city of Edmonton.
No,
sure.
We're not antagonizing them. They know they're awful.
Yep. Welcome to the Alberta Podcast Network. Only most of us are from Edmonton. It's totally okay.
Hey, whoa!
But here's the problem we have here. We need a name. What are we gonna call ourselves now?
I mean, there are nearly infinite number of lines.
That's fair. There's many numbers of lines that we could be.
Should we consult our lawyer? I don't know.
Do we turn this into a legal advice podcast? Is the next question.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't see why not.
Where we ask lawyers to come on and we ask them for their legal advice, and then we kick them out without paying them for their services.
Well, I think the free advertising we'd be giving them is plenty. Is it just me, or is Mike using a lot of visual cues this show?
I can't see Mike, so I have no idea. Carl, I don't know how this happened, but basically all I see is Carl. That's all I get from visual.
You only have eyes for Carl, and that's nothing.
So his shirt is just distracting me so much. And
that's fair. That's probably why it's not leaving.
So basically, I am so distracted right now. I want no part of making this decision. I just vote we do a contest.
I like that idea.
Yeah, clearly we are horrible at making decisions.
We need your help. We need you to send us on the Twitter, on the Facebook, Pinterest, don't know how to access our Pinterest DMs, can you DM someone on Pinterest? Mike, you probably know this much better than us.
Oh, yeah, you can direct pin somebody for sure.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So, Twitter, at Fourth Line Podcast. Facebook.com/The Fourth Line Podcast. Mail at thefourthlinepodcast.com. Send us your ideas for a name. And the one that we pick, the one that this will be named of, henceforth, wins a prize. A prize of your choosing.
Okay.
Carl will get it tattooed somewhere on his body part of your choosing.
Inaccurate.
So can I set some guidelines here?
Please do. Yeah.
So we are a family-friendly show, right?
Correct. Very, very, very true.
So name has to be family-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, like the three of us are deciding out of the names. Like we're not making, or we may make it like a public poll, but we may not.
We hold all rights to decide how we decide.
So if we make it a public poll and then the one that we really don't like wins, we're just going to not choose it.
Correct.
We're just going to not put the ones we don't like in a poll. That's what we're going to do.
This is why Carl is in charge, because he does things that are smart.
Yeah. So if it goes to a poll, if we can't decide, like if we each have a favorite, then we'll put it to a poll. But yeah, send them to us if you think that a reason behind it will help us decide and to pick yours. Send a reason. Just let us know. Name the show. Now, the rest of the news, because this is a new thing. This episode, whatever it shall be named, as part of the Fourth Line Podcast, will be coming out monthly, as it always has, but it will be replacing the weekly Fourth Line episode that you are used to having. Well, we're going to talk some hockey on this episode, something we don't usually do when Mike is on the show. Luckily, this week we have some San Jose Sharks news to talk about, so that's great for you. So we're gonna talk some hockey, and we're gonna talk the usual other things that we do on the show formerly known as the Blank Line Podcast. So we'll be doing that through the summer, likely, possibly into the season. We'll see what comes of it. We'll see how it works. We'll see how it goes. But the summer's a fun time to do things. The NHL season probably has 2-3 weeks of busyness left, and then we'll see. So this week, the NHL awards were tonight. Nothing crazy happened. PK Subban's on the cover of NHL 19. Doesn't really change anything. But there were some trades this week. We'll get into those. Before we get into any of that, let's remind everyone about the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB, our bank of choice here at the Fourth Line Podcast. Head over to atb.com/listens. You can find out all the ways that they can work for you, and they want to know what you're looking for. So let them know what you need in a bank, and they will do their best to make you happy. So, gentlemen, should we get into the show? Now that we've done all of this, now that we've done the necessary front matter, we've started our contest. When are we going to do this? Are we going to wait until the next time? You have a month, essentially, to get your names in?
Yeah, I think so. That seems like a good amount of time.
So, yeah, you have until end of July. So we'll plug it, especially the week before we actually do the show. Stew on it. Don't just rush to an idea. You can send in multiple, too. We won't say no to 10 different emails.
Although, I don't know. See, there is some pros and cons to getting it in earlier. Because early, it may, grow on us. But then it also, we may, think we like it originally, and then after, a week, we're like, nah, we don't like that.
Yeah, you got to worry about recency bias. The same thing happens, every year with the Academy Awards. It's there always seems to be a couple of movies from late in the year that get a lot of consideration, but it's really just because they're fresh in our minds.
Yeah, that's why all the award buzzy movies coming at the end. So, hockey. 3 trades this week. 3 trades. We'll start with the one that has the least conversation. Alex Galchenyuk leaving Montreal, heading to Arizona. Max Domi going from Arizona back to Montreal. Max had a great rookie year and then scored 9 goals the next 2 seasons. Montreal hates any player who ever did anything good for their team. So he's gone.
Yeah. I think this is a lose-lose probably. Oh, no, not lose-lose. I think it's just like a whatever. My guess is they're both going to be terrible because they both have been terrible. I would assume if one of the two is going to be better, though, I would go Galchenyuk.
I would think so as well.
I think, and like, yeah, dollars make a difference, but like it kind of makes a difference because like the Arizona doesn't really care how much they pay anybody. So
Montreal needs the cap space. They save 1.8 or something like that on this trade, I believe.
But my guess is neither of them really do anything. But if one of them makes one of these GMs looks good, it's definitely not going to be the one that Bergevin traded for.
Yeah, not the best of track records there. I think everyone was very high on Max Domi after his rookie year. I don't know that many people not fans of Ty Domi, so that connection they were big fans of as well. And so we go into the second year, and he has 9 goals. The next year, 9 more goals. So it's nothing to get very excited about. Honestly, for Montreal, I don't fully understand why they did this trade. Like Galchenyuk, someone that they tried at center. They've been looking for more centers. There's a strong talk that Ryan O'Reilly will end up there. So sure, you got yourself a center. It might cost you the 3rd overall pick, though.
So, did you change your mind on this, Carl? Because I feel like early in, like when that first trade came out, when we were talking about it, I felt like you were like thought I was crazy for thinking Galchenyuk was the better of the two.
I did at first. I did. You in a way sold me on the Max side or the Galchenyuk side of this, and I looked into him more, and what he's done outside of that first year is not really that much.
He's been really bad, like
quite bad. And 30 assists off the power play, only 1 power play goal, 8 assists. So like 9 of his whatever points, 9 of his 45 points this year were on the power play. So like you look at that, it's 36 points, even strength. There's nothing to get super excited about. I think if you put him with some better talent, as bad as Montreal is, their forward group is a lot better than what Arizona has. So I think that's the way that I look at this, and I see this trade being good for them. Do we have any other thoughts before we get to the other trades?
No, I think basically it's kind of like whatever. I think it's a bigger deal than it's a bigger deal because of the names rather than the players of who they actually are. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's whatever.
The next trade is a quasi 3-way deal that we have going on. We talked last week about the Mike Hoffman situation, and so we woke up on, what was it, Tuesday morning? It was yesterday, was it not?
It was yesterday. It happened yesterday.
Yesterday morning. We woke up to, before any of us were awake, Mike Hoffman had already left Ottawa, headed to San Jose. Mikkel Boedker going back the other way, some quote-unquote prospects and some low-level picks going as well. Essentially, it ended up as Hoffman for Boedker. Mike, as a San Jose Sharks supporter, obviously all the buzz in the area was about Mike Hoffman. I think that was probably on the cover of the sports section in San Francisco that day. What's your thoughts on the Mike Hoffman acquisition?
Well, the entire metropolitan area of San Francisco, San Jose, was absolutely abuzz. Just people leaning out their windows in the morning saying, Mike Hoffman is here. Guys, Mike Hoffman is here. Who is Mike Hoffman? No, but for those of us who do follow the Sharks, it was interesting news. Most of us, have opinions formed of Mike Hoffman, not necessarily just for his on the ice performance, but for some of the extracurriculars in some of the scandal that had been following around recently. So I can't say I was entirely thrilled to see that Mike Hoffman had been acquired, and it wasn't necessarily a major disappointment to see the Mike Hoffman era be so short-lived.
Yeah, so about an hour later, maybe 2-3 hours later,
it was not. It was very quick.
Yeah, it was definitely. I'd made it into work by the time he was flipped. Either way, he was sent off to Florida, getting a second-round pick back. So essentially, a
second, a fourth, and a fifth.
Yeah. So again, some lower picks, but. So what happens is Boedker ends up in Ottawa, a second ends up in San Jose, and Mike Hoffman ends up in Florida. And the things that interest me the most about this is, one, the Sharks managed to essentially get a second-round pick plus for the terrible contract of Mikkel Boedker. Ottawa somehow decided that they're not going to trade within their division when they're not actually competing with their division right now. They're on a rebuild. And Florida decided that they were willing to take on Mike Hoffman and the locker room situation that has occurred in Ottawa and take the chance that something may happen with their team. So, which one of those to you seems like the biggest factor in this trade?
What do you mean biggest factor? Like,
I don't know. Like, which one interests you the most?
So,
go ahead, Mike.
I would say, from my perspective, as somebody who had the pleasure of having Mike Hoffman within his organization for 37 minutes, I would definitely say that the biggest value gained by any team in this three-way deal is getting Mike Hoffman's chemistry impacting personality out of your locker room. I mean, we've been paying close attention to just how torn apart Ottawa has been over like we said, this extracurricular, non-performance related stuff. I want no part of that in the Sharks. I think we're starting to build something really nice. We had a good deep run, lost to the evil Las Vegas Knights, unfortunately, but I would hate to see that positive momentum ruined by bringing in such a polarizing personality who you don't know if you can trust or trust your family with, for that matter.
I think so. When I first saw this, like when the first trade went down, I immediately said to Carl, I said, lose. No one wins this. Everybody loses. The Ottawa Senators got nothing for a guy who on ice should get you decent value in a trade. Mike Hoffman's a good hockey player. He's got 20-plus goals in the last 4 seasons. He's fairly durable, good hockey player. He should get you more than Mikkel Boedker. No offense, Mr. Boedker, if you're listening. I assume you are. I really hope you find a way to get out of Ottawa because... So I thought lose. Then, all of a sudden, the magician that Doug Wilson apparently is flips him for, again, probably lower value than what Mike Hoffman is actually worth, but more value than what Mikkel Boedker is definitely worth, and all of a sudden turns Mikkel Boedker into 3 picks. It is crazy how bad Ottawa is. I asked Carl yesterday, is Ottawa the worst professional franchise in sports currently? And I'm pretty sure they are.
Between us, we figured they were at best like the top 2 worst. It's a dead heat between them and the Miami Marlins.
And I think the fact that the Marlins have a new ownership and you can't critique them until they have a new ownership, you got to give them at least a couple years. In 2 years, sure, but let's be clear. Melnyk he's got to be one of the worst, if not the worst, owners in professional sports.
We need to see, if the new Miami Marlins ownership is going to give away players in a gift basket. That we need to see if that's going to happen. So
I think, I don't know. I know that was you think that, I don't know. There's no way that the Marlins are worse than the Ottawa Senators. This is crazy. It's crazy. The Ottawa Senators are just making the worst decisions imaginable. They can't even get their act together. Like this Mike Hoffman thing, who cares if he did it or not? Like, you need to deal with this. If he didn't do it, figure it out and make sure that it doesn't come out that he did it. If he did do it, tell him to break up with his girlfriend and get her away from the team. Like, this is not that difficult. The fact that it's lasted this long, and then they just traded away. They're still going to lose Erik Karlsson. They're not going to get him. They're not going to keep him. They're going to. The Ottawa Senators are such a mess. They're such a mess.
That is quite possibly the biggest takeaway from all of this is how much of a disaster that organization is. The fact that their assistant GM is still with the team, Mike Hoffman is no longer with the team. Like, those are the two, they had to pick. They're like, all right, who do we get rid of first? The guy that we have to trade or the guy that we just walk into his office and say, you're fired? They picked the guy that they needed to trade first. That's a terrible idea. Then the trade they made was terrible. I don't get why. Like, they had this rule. They were specifically told, you are not allowed to make a trade in division. And from the rumors that happened, apparently Florida wouldn't give them the same deal they gave San Jose, which is also quite dumb. Obviously, it worked out for Florida, but, like, why do you care if you're giving Ottawa like, you're not going to be competitive at the same time. Just do it. If you think that your window is close enough, trade a second-round pick in the division. Who cares?
I just don't. I also don't get why Florida decided that they wanted to bring this onto their team. That's the one that kind of boggles me. I'm not surprised that Ottawa continues to go down in flames. But, and I guess
all the talk out of Florida is that these guys, they talked with the team. But the fact that they, Bob Bugner, no, I think it was Dale Talon came out and said that according to them, this situation is in the past. It happened last week.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even settled yet. It's not in the past. It is still actively happening. That's what I find interesting. Obviously, the players are okay with it. Luongo came out after the trade. He said that he supports Mike Hoffman and is okay with that. And you know what? The leaders in that room should say that to the media, right? You don't let it snowball out of control. You have some guys who go out and say, whether they really feel like that or not, the guys who are behind that team go out and say that.
Yeah, it's just the most awkward trade, and like the best thing that comes out of it is that somehow the Sharks managed to wiggle their way into this and get rid of a terrible contract and get some picks at the same time.
Yeah, they managed to clear $4 million in cap space and get a second-round pick plus.
That's
how we don't know, but
whoever decided it's Ottawa. The fact that Ottawa managed to let them do that is just incredible. But whatever,
yeah. I'll point back to the last time Ottawa made a three-way trade, and we ended up with a pick that could be their fourth overall pick this year, or whatever pick they end up when they're miserable next season. And Sam Girard, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the point that Ottawa's bad at, especially making three-way deals. But that's where we're at. We have the NHL awards happen tonight. We might talk about that next week. The draft is this weekend, so lots of things on next week's Fourth Line that we'll be dealing with. But we wanted to get into some of our favorite moments as summer's hitting, right? Tomorrow is the solstice. Summer gets started. Longest day of the year. Get out, enjoy some sunshine. It's vacation season. School's getting out. The families are taking off. And we got to thinking about our favorite vacations, our favorite vacation memories. For me, I always enjoyed going out to the cabins out in Ontario. We did it, I think, at least twice we would head out that way. We'd always road trip out there. And what I loved about it is you're out on the lake, you're doing some fishing, you're spending time with your family, and just seeing and experiencing things that are different than where you are at. I think everyone takes for granted the situation they're in. They don't really get super pumped about it. But for me, having something different. If I had fishing right outside my door every day, it probably wouldn't be as special. I wouldn't do that on vacation, maybe. But that was a big thing. What about you guys? What are your favorite vacation memories?
I can go. So I'd say one of my favorites, and Carl, most of my most fond vacation memories are just like yours, up in cabin country, spending time with the family, getting out in the outdoors, breathing the pine air, and getting out of the city. But the story I want to tell, or the experience I wanted to share here, is right when I graduated university. I had never been outside of the country except for the road trip over to Mexico once or twice. But took the opportunity to go with my family back to Ireland, where my mom's side of the family is from. And this was not going out to Dublin and doing a tour of like all of the big cities out there, which I still would love to do. This trip was entirely focused on meeting a lot of our family that lived out in like a lot of the really rural areas of Ireland, and actually spent about 2 or 3 weeks just hopping from family farm to family farm, just to meet the people that I share a bloodline with and see how they live and just see how differently our lives are, even though we're only separated by a generation and one sibling moving from Ireland to America and one sibling staying home. So rewarding seeing how other people in the world live, and also a very valuable lesson in seeing how a sheep is sheared firsthand.
How many sheep did you shear?
Only one. No, actually, I didn't shear any sheep myself. But my cousins who did own sheep owned thousands of sheep. They had a lot of land out there, so it was an annual exercise in all hands on deck. The entire family getting out there and just doing it for what seemed like months on end.
Surely they could have let you do at least one.
That was a bad joke, Carl.
Oh,
I want no part of it. No. So these sheep farmers, did they like have the ones that they like put like glow in the dark paint on and like did YouTube videos with them? Have you guys seen those?
I have not, but I would not be surprised judging by some of the nutballs that I have in my family over there.
Yeah, you gotta check those out.
Never heard.
There's like YouTube videos of like sheep in the middle of the night, like, and they use like noise and people to herd them into like making like shapes and stuff in the dark. And just, how have you not seen these? These are great YouTube videos. This is how I spend my time. Apparently, is everyone watch cats online? I watch glow in the dark sheep.
A little research tells me that these sheep they claim genetically modified. So these aren't even painted. These are like
just glow in the dark mutant sheep,
like bred to glow in the dark sheep, which cannot be healthy.
That can't be good. It's like just
that's a
radioactive.
terrible idea for sheep.
Joel, tell us about your vacation experiences.
So I don't know. We did the typical camping thing, but like I was trying to think, like my favorite summer vacation was the year I graduated high school. My dad took me to Toronto to see the Yankees play. So we did a 3-game set versus the Jays. They won all 3 games. I'm pretty sure they won all 3 games. And then
during that era, that's quite likely.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. We did the Hockey Hall of Fame. We had burgers at Wayne Gretzky's. We did the CN Tower. I think it's the CN Tower. Is that right? I feel like it's the CN Tower in Toronto.
Yes,
sounds right.
So, so it was lots of fun. Like, it was the first time I had been to a big league game before. I'd been to one, Seattle in the Kingdom, but I'd never. It was Mariners versus the Brewers. So, but I'd never seen the Yankees. Grew up as a Yankees fan, and so my dad took me and watched 3 games, and it was fun.
I honestly, now sports is like when I plan vacations for myself now, sports is the biggest part. Sports and food are the 2 biggest determining factors for where I'm going to go. So whether it be, well, Joel knows 3 times we've been to Seattle?
Yeah, that was, 3 times, because we did Jays, Yankees, and Seahawks.
Yeah. So, plan around that, or go to a place, or visiting Mike in San Francisco. That was a sports themed trip and food. Literally all I did that entire trip was eat or watch baseball, which isn't the worst of things to do. So for me, that's my biggest factor right now. I've been to, well, again, I don't travel in the winter usually, so it's like that's not hockey season, so I've never actually been to a game anywhere other than Calgary. So it's baseball, lots of baseball, lots of great food. What about you guys? What is your go-to factor for a vacation?
For me, a lot of it's got to be weather. And not necessarily in the direction that most people think when I say that weather is a big determining factor on my vacations. I think we may have discussed this on a previous episode. I get very warm very easily, and some might describe me as an overly sweaty person. So I really try to make sure that I'm not signing myself up for any unbearable heat, or if I'm going to be in warm weather, that I make sure that I'm on a beach somewhere with the water very close by to cool me down. So I guess maybe just avoiding the discomfort is probably one of my biggest factors, as much as I'd hate to say.
Yeah, I don't really know. Basically, like the last few years, basically all our vacations have been during the summers, finding some place that either has a pool or a lake, because like it's hot. My son likes to swim. It's inexpensive. Just basically, yeah, we don't really, I haven't had like apart from, and then like, that's if like family vacation, but then like Carl said, like, because there's already been small talks about some sort of baseball or sporting trip again. And so it's all, yeah, it's like, it's either family oriented or sports oriented.
Which are two fantastic ways to spend your vacation. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. We talked on the show last week about how there's the celebrations from the Stanley Cup championship. And so I think we know how the Washington Capitals are going to be spending their vacation. They're going to have their day with the cup. They're going to throw a party. Again, food probably going to be a big part of that day with the cup. If you're having your whole family and friends over, you're going to put on some fine food. Which also gets me thinking about celebrations and thinking about how we would celebrate, how you should celebrate. Because I think everyone loved the Ovi celebration, but so few of us could actually pull that off. I am well aware of the fact that if I won the Stanley Cup, my celebration would look absolutely nothing like his. The amount of alcohol that he partook in, I just couldn't handle that.
Well, and then you have on the flip side where, like, no offense, Mike, but when the Golden State Warriors got, I don't even know what's the trophy called in the NBA?
Oh, the Larry O'Brien trophy.
So when they get the Larry O'Brien trophy, like, Kevin Durant didn't even look happy. He was just like, yeah, whatever, this is a thing. Now, when you win it 8 years in a row, that... yeah, maybe it does take away a little bit of the specialness of it, but...
yeah, I don't think you have to act like you've been there before when winning the championship. Like, you can act happy.
Yeah. So, like, is that how you would try and pull it off? Like, you'd just be like... because, like, I think he was trying to, like, look cool or something like that, but I was just like, you look sad that you can't even, like, celebrate this win.
Kevin Durant just seems like he cannot win with some people. I got to be honest with you guys. So last year when the Warriors won, Kevin Durant was very enthusiastic with the celebrations, after hitting game-winning shots, with the trophy, with everything. And people said, you don't have anything worth celebrating. You joined the best team in the league. You just rode their coattails into a championship. Stop celebrating.
It's not wrong.
Not
necessarily wrong.
The next year, he doesn't celebrate as much. He says that he's still excited, but he tried not to be as visibly pumped on the court. And here he's getting it from the other direction, saying that you're not even excited about it anymore. Why do you even care? Why are you playing? You ruined basketball. the man just cannot win. Just let him live. Let him be. No, I definitely get the appearance of him not being stoked. But as he said in post-game interviews, he definitely downplayed it a bit. And to see him celebrate in a lot of the Snapchat and Instagram videos that were floating around that night, and seeing him celebrate in the locker room and at the victory parade, the man was excited. He just did not show it when he was on the opposing team's court. So I'm willing to cut him a little slack. But I know I can agree with you. I know exactly how it looked to the outside observer.
I just think the moral of this conversation is don't be Kevin Durant. Just nobody likes you, Kevin. Just maybe
there were some Twitter accounts back in the day that were a big fan of him. Big fan. Big fan.
Would you? So if you guys were, I don't know which whatever trophy. Like, so for Mike, it would be the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Carl, I'm guessing Stanley Cup. Is that the number one you would probably want?
Yeah, I would think so.
So, like, if you were to win one of those, what do you do? What's your day look like, or what do you do when you first win? Like, and I guess, let's say I don't know, it is tough, because, like, you had, like, I guess Durant's probably a good example, and Ovi's a good example, because they were veterans who took a while to win. We're not talking about rookies that this is their first year.
Yeah, so, at my 30 years of age, if I finally win the Stanley Cup, what am I going to do? Well, I'm gonna celebrate with the team that night, obviously, right? To have some, typically, I don't know what they did for the Warriors. The Caps, they had like a family and friends dinner afterwards, and then they went out to the club and celebrated. That would be, I would follow with the team in that. And then for my day, the parade would be fantastic. I think being part of that parade, being able to have tens of thousands of your fans out to celebrate what your team accomplished would be huge. There's always the joy of having the 20,000 fans in the arena, but you have a whole city behind you. And I feel like that doesn't actually click until you literally have the entire city in front of you at that point. And so that moment, I think, would be very cool. That would probably be my favorite moment of winning a championship, would be the parade.
What do you wear at the parade? Do you wear just like a regular shirt? Do you wear the champion shirt? Or do you wear the I hate James Neal shirt?
I would probably just wear my jersey and some shorts, some flip-flops.
Do you guys wear their jerseys at the parade?
The Caps did. The Warriors, did they not?
No, they wore their official NBA supplied championship attire.
And the I hate Tristan Thompson shirt.
Everybody has that shirt.
Right. Whoa. Come on now.
He's Canadian.
Okay. Come on.
He's cheated on 2 consecutive pregnant girlfriends.
Okay, fine. Screw Tristan Thompson.
Thank you.
There's terrible people in Canada too. Fact. On that note, Mike, what would you do? Like, what would be your celebration? What would be your prime moment?
Me and Kevin Durant would go celebrate by ourselves and not let any of you folks see and watch and hate on us. No. I definitely agree with you that really, the parade is the place to be. I mean, that's where you really feel the power of the moment. But I mean, I'm going to go someplace else. I'd really be interested in the morning after the team celebration. And for this one, I'm gonna pretend that I am also an NHL player with a Stanley Cup. I'm going to have my hangover breakfast out of the trophy. So I'm going to put my omelet in there. Probably going to put like the sausage and bacon, maybe a couple pancakes on top. And then eat the breakfast and take a healthy dose of penicillin afterwards.
So that makes you the star, because like you're Ovi, because we all know that Ovi didn't lose the cup for about 2 weeks here. Like, it was with Ovi the entire time. Because but if you're
over at his house, we're buddies.
Yeah, he said, but like, because I'm trying to think of like Philip Grubauer. How do you say that guy's name?
Oh, good old Phil.
You say it like Philip Grubauer.
Oh, I said it right. There we go.
Yeah, you nailed it.
I wasn't sure, like, when I first said it, I was like, am I saying a guy, like one of like the villains from Die Hard? Like, that's what I thought.
Mike, before we continue Joel's analogy, let's play everyone's favorite game of Guess That Nation. Where is Philip Grubauer from?
Ooh, let's see. It's not Panama. Let's see. Doesn't sound Turkish. I am going to guess that he is from... Let's go Germany.
Ding, 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 ding. There you go. Philipp Grubauer, the rare German National Hockey Leaguer. So, Joel, anyways, if you're Philipp Grubauer, you don't get the cup.
You don't get the cup, so you don't get to have that morning after breakfast. So that's the thing. So in this scenario, you got to think, like, am I the star player? Am I the guy that hasn't won it and gets it for the next 2 weeks straight, or am I just the role player that I'll get it on the one day that it's my day to have it?
Yeah. In that light, I mean, I have to be honest. I would be more of a role player. I would probably be like shirtless J.R. Smith, rolling around the victory parade, and I would just have to make sure that in my limited time, I'd have to make it really count. Like I would have to document every single second with like selfies and photos and videos, just to make sure that for the rest of my life I had that. Also, might put it on a chain and wear it around my neck for that one day. For that one day that I had it, just to make sure that everybody knows. Everybody knows, Joel.
I like it. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what I would do. Like I would. Like I think I'd be like I think all of us are saying this. We're going to be in the middle. We're not going to be Mr. Kevin Durant, emotionless, doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, we're not going to be 2018 emotionless Kevin Durant. We're not going to be crazy 2017 Kevin Durant.
And we're not going to be Ovi, because that's just not sustainable.
Yeah. So if we had I know some people were asking, if we had won our slow pitch championship, which we lost, sadly.
You got to bring that up.
What? People were asking. People said, "Did you win?" We didn't. So if we had won, when Joel got his day with the trophy, the one medal that they would have given us for our championship, you would have just kind of hung out with it. You wouldn't have gone crazy.
I don't know. I would have been like, I definitely would be. I would take it to some sort of like children's hospital or something like that. Like take it somewhere that some kids are going to lose their mind and I can get excited with them. Like that's kind of, and then have and then do something with family and friends. Just have a big old barbecue, and then in the morning take it somewhere like Boys and Girls Club or Children's Hospital or something like that. That's what I think that would be fun. It'd be
sounds like a great idea.
Low key, but it'd be lots of fun. And then, and then I also think that's safe because no one's complaining about that. No one's being like, "Oh, you celebrated not enough," and no one's saying, "Oh, you're a crazy drunk." Like it's just like the middle, even keeled, middle of the road. That's how I want to go.
I think I would probably tag along on that. I would come with you. We'd all go. You could bring your friends. We'd all go to the Children's Hospital together, and then I'd come eat your Smokies and ribs.
I like it. We just need to win something now, which apparently we're not good at.
It's fine. Someone has to finish second.
Do you like would you have rather won third or lost?
No.
So you're happy with the second?
I think finishing, yeah, because in the end, it's like, well, yes, you finish the season on a loss, where if you win third place, but second is still above third. So I still look at that as being happy. Yeah, I'd rather you still end up with the same amount of wins and losses, right? We still would have finished with that extra L. So I'm fine with getting that L in the finals, not the quarters or semis.
Yeah, I threw my silver medal to the crowd, and I got suspended from CSSC.
That's fine. We'll just tell them you won't be back. You don't even want to play in their league.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't got anything else on celebrations. You guys got anything else?
Mike, would you rather second or third?
Oh, much rather second. I mean, specifically for the reason that you just said. I mean, second is better than third. Even, and personally, like, I guess this brings up another question. Like, if your team loses in the playoffs, do you root for the team that beat you to be the eventual champion so you can say, I lost to the best team? Or do you root against them to lose at the very next opportunity? I've always said I'd rather they win so that I can say that technically I think of myself as second place because I would have beaten anybody else that was in front of me except for the champs.
I'm in the same boat. Unless the team that beat me are the worst team, like just jerks.
Like the Bruins.
The only way. Yeah, like if the Bruins beat me, I want them to lose. If the Sharks beat me, I want the Sharks to win the cup so that you lost to the best.
All right.
Because, yeah, then you never know. You can always try to tell yourself, what if? But losing in the finals is better anyways. Mike, do you have, for those who are not typically tuning into a fourth line, one thing that Mike does almost every time is something very special to us. And it is Mike's weird question of the week. And so what this is it's Mike's opportunity to come bring us something that's a glimpse into the mind of Tiny Mike. Do you have something for us this week, Mike?
I do have a weird question, Carl. Hopefully this passes the sniff test as far as being family friendly enough for our podcast. But would you guys rather fart glitter or urinate paint?
Glitter, because the other one sounds painful. Does it hurt?
Assume that they are equally discomforting. I don't know how.
Does it hurt? That's
both hurt.
Still the glitter.
Yeah, I'm thinking glitter all the way. The only problem with the glitter is that I would lose the opportunity to sneak in a fart, right? Because, like, some glitter would just, like, all of a sudden there's glitter at your feet. You're like, why are you all shiny? And it smells a little bit in here.
Well, let's make this a little more interesting. This is like magic glitter that does not get stopped by the clothing that you may or may not have on at the time.
So it just follows the gas. Wherever there's gas, there's glitter, essentially.
You're like a pony flying through, or a unicorn flying through the air, just leaving jet streams of glitter behind you. Would it then afterwards stick to me? Because I don't want to be walking around throughout the day. Like, I get out of my car and then people are like, would you glitter bomb yourself in there? No, the same magical properties that send this glitter flying through clothes also prevents it from sticking to you afterwards.
Okay, so
glitter for sure.
It just falls to the ground and never sticks to anyone. Yeah, that's for sure glitter.
Man, I'm opposite. I am paint with a capital P, so to speak. It's going to be discomforting in the same way that expelling glitter from your body would be, but just the capacity to actually paint your name on the ground, Carl, like, that's just an opportunity that I can't pass up. Though I guess it's fair to say you'd walk into my backyard and you would just see random paint splotches all over the fence and wonder what's going on.
Yeah, and, like, your toilet would never be the same. What color? Do you get to pick the color? Does it change based on what you ate? How does the color happen?
Oh, it definitely changes based on what you've been eating and drinking. Just like in real life, your level of hydration will determine certain things about the fluids that leave your body. So too will your diet determine what color you are producing.
Yeah, it's glitter and it's not close. It's really not close.
Yeah, I don't think it's close at all.
I just don't think you boys are artistic.
I just think there's a lot of repercussions.
I think
like, what if you dribble? Then you've just got paint on yourself.
Just don't dribble.
But like, yeah, no, it's glitter. I can't even think. Like, I cannot think of one thing where I'm like, yeah, I would rather paint. Glitter. It's always been glitter.
Fine, enjoy all the vacuuming that you have to do then.
It doesn't stick to anything. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Like I can just walk through fields of glitter that never sticks to me.
Don't leave your fart glitter just lying on the ground, Carl. That's gross.
Well, that's fine. Then people will find out truly how often I vacuum when they come over.
You're painting your fence with your pee. Like,
I'm going to make it look like graffiti. It's going to be really cool.
I don't think it is. I really don't think it is.
Just a lot of waist-high graffiti.
And then the odd one, really, really tall one. For no reason.
It's glitter. And it's glitter.
That, and thus ends the segment known as Mike's Weird Question of the Week. Let us know. Let us know on.
Just let us know. Just let us know.
Don't let us know that. We do not.
Let me know.
We do not want to know.
It's glitter. Doesn't matter.
Text me.
Mike is on Twitter at MGTour17. He'll check his Twitter, but he will rarely tweet.
Do not expect a response.
No, most certainly not. I think I tweeted at you once and then decided to never do that ever again.
Big mistake.
Yeah, huge error. So Mike will lurk and read all your tweets if you send them to him. But what you should let us know are your selections for the name of the show. We still need a name. So send those in at Fourth Line Podcast, fourthlinepodcast.com, mail at thefourthlinepodcast.com, Facebook, and while you are at it, head to albertapodcastnetwork.com/survey. So, the great people at the Alberta Podcast Network, they want to know more about your listening habits when it comes to podcasts. Who do you listen to? Why do you listen to them? What do you like in your podcasts? Which shows on the network are you listening? They want to know. Obviously, you're listening to this one, so go and tell them how great you love the Fourth Line Podcast and the other fantastic shows on the network. albertapodcastnetwork.com/survey is where you want to go. Fill that out. It'll only take a couple minutes of your time, and we, as well as the rest of the network, will greatly appreciate your time and effort. So thank you in advance for doing that. Until next time, when we are back, draft is this weekend. You can find us on the Twitter. We will be over there tweeting about what happens. Some trades, lots of trade rumors happening. We'll see what actually goes down between now and Friday night. Until next time.
Boom City.